What I think about the future of oil in the Niger Delta, I want to respond by saying it's ICT, not oil.
People should start embracing technology because technology is not the future. Technology is now.
We believe that tech is the new oil. The Niger Delta is known for oil, so we're trying to diversify the economy.
To the extent that we talk about let's change the narrative, agri can do this. My concern most times has always been, are we really ready to change this narrative that we talk about?
You cannot talk about the economy anywhere, and in particular in the Niger Delta, without first talking about how do we regenerate the environment.
Everything about operating Nigerian federalism is centered on oil. The strong position that some persons have taken against restructuring is because of the interest of oil. Oil creates a whole lot of wealth for people who don't work.
Between 1961 and 2014, 32.7 billion barrels of crude oil, valued at 118.5 trillion naira, has been extracted from Nigeria's Niger Delta. Paradoxically, while this region is richly endowed with resources, the degree of unemployment among the people is alarming. In 2017, Rivers State reported the highest unemployment rate, followed by Akwa Ibom and Bayelsa State. This region is one of the most restive and violent places to live in the country.
The Niger Delta is a very unique geography. It's one of the largest deltas in the world. In relation to its history or its relationship with Nigeria, oil in one form or the other has always been at the center of the identity of the Niger Delta. Before crude oil, as we know it now, petroleum, hydrocarbon, palm oil was one of the leading produce from the region, and that was a major point of interest for the colonial masters.
Prior to oil discovery, the environment was okay. People lived naturally. The forest was a means of survival for the people. It was such that, there's this proverb that there was enough for our needs, not for our greed. And so people had some kind of attachment, very strong one, to the environment.
Much of the region was known before now as the Oil Rivers Protectorate. The oil in that expression referred to palm oil. And it's interesting that several decades after, crude oil now was discovered in the region in 1956 in the Oloibiri area in present-day Bayelsa State. That has come to define to a large extent the relationship that the region has had with the rest of the country.
There's a World Bank report in 1965 stating that the Delta had the capacity agriculturally of feeding the whole of West Africa. That predates discovery of oil because the region was essentially agriculture driven.
Large-scale farming, fishing, especially fishing in Ogoni land. They said there are two things that we survive on. There's gari, cassava, and fish. That's just what they eat. Like my dad would say that was what he ate all his life growing up.
People had depended on fishing and farming over the years for survival. Nobody thought about oil until oil came.
Oil has been powering Nigeria for a long time. Oil has been causing problems.
Destruction of the environment, the pollution. And with the pollution came a gradual depletion of the ecosystem. The flora and the fauna started to disappear.
We have many problems in the region. There are many problems, social, economic, livelihood issues, but the environment more than anything else is the biggest victim, is the saddest story in all of this.
A couple of companies refuse to stick to environmental standards that are supposed to be upheld, that are really upheld out there in the West. They had refused to stick to those standards here. And in case of oil spills and pollution, they had stayed away from it and sometimes blamed even the community people.
It's unspeakable, it's indescribable. The Niger Delta is actually the petroleum pollution capital of the world.
In the past 10 years, there have been over 10,000 recorded incidents of oil spills. And in addition to the destruction of the ecosystem, other effects include increased neonatal mortality rate and reduced fertility. The immediate cleanup, as recommended by the 2011 UNEP assessment of Ogoniland, is yet to commence.
The seeming breakdown of law and order is merely a symptom of a deeper or more fundamental breakdown, which is the breakdown of governance. No accountability, no transparency, no deep thinking going on. So the rivers are polluted. Fisher folks can't go fishing anymore. So what do? Urban migration. Those who cannot migrate remain in the village, but they can't go fishing. So the young ones, a few of them would struggle, but there is a tendency, law of averages. The average youth, without a sense of hope, is going to find a way to, take laws into his hand.
So beyond oil, one of the most, the biggest industry right now, or the fastest growing industry right now in real estate is technology. And of course, we're in the fourth industrial revolution. Things are beginning to change slowly all around the world. We might not say we have a startup that is like a Facebook or like a Silicon Valley startup yet, but we're seeing people looking to tech, young people looking to tech as an avenue for them to show their creativity, to solve problems around them.
My name is Samson Godi. I'm from River State. I'm 18. My journey is to become the greatest computer scientist I know. It's a bit tricky because I was just a little kid stepping out from primary school, thinking about what to do. Then something happened, so I had to go to a public school called Community Secondary School, Rumasi, Port Harcourt. That school year, Schlumberger, in partnership with Ascons, an oil company in the Niger Delta region, in partnership with MIT, so they brought a lot of computers, up to, I think, more than 5,000 computers to secondary school students. So I was in just this one. Then I received the computer. Up to 1,000 students were this tech savvy, playing games. There's this drag and drop way of coding called Scratch. So we used it, we did a lot of collaboration. So learning was very fun for me.
Imagine we are in Uyo, but we help foreigners like from different parts of the world. Personally, I do, and it does on a daily basis. Somebody has a problem in the US, and then you fix for the person.
Primarily, imagine 51 people going out to rent 51 office spaces. That is expensive, if they can afford it, which I doubt. So we provide them primarily with space, a comfortable working environment. We provide them with steady power supply, which is a problem in Nigeria. We provide them with mentorship. This space also provides them that community learning experience.
One of the things that we do is to push a lot of young people to gain leadership skills and to understand their roles in decision making in their various communities. We actually believe as an organization that for change to happen and for real growth to occur in our society, we need to have young people, know their place on the table, like they sit at the table, understand the rules, the skills, and all the plans they have to do to move.
There's a large unemployment boom in this region. And so when there's unemployment, there's usually idleness, right? People don't have what to do. And when you're idle, you look for something else to do. I mean, there's so much energy in you, so you have to expend it somehow.
People are quiet. We have a lot of intelligent young men who are there, who are probably maybe non-violent, who think that maybe the best way is to actually do advocacy and get the government to understand that the narrative needs to change. But who is listening to them? Or when you hold a gun, they are ready to talk to you. What kind of government runs the system that way?
It's about people not taking their own young people seriously. I mean, all across the world, it's young people that drive the economies.
That's true.
Young people lead the whole world. Any economy that's looking for growth or looking to grow, that is not actively investing in its youth, it's a wasted nation.
It is.
And that's why we are where we are.
The education sector had failed young people, not just in the Niger Delta, but in Nigeria at large, because a lot of it had not evolved with the times. And so people are prepared for jobs that no longer exist. They are churning out graduates every year, and we don't have the skills that we need for the jobs.
A younger person would prefer to be PA to the PA to the PA of a commissioner instead of picking up a career and doing something better for himself. People don't want to go into technology because they don't have a role model yet there. People don't want to go into other things because there are no role models.
Tech is not just for guys, so we're doing so much to change that story. And not just having women as support in tech, because you have the core tech roles and then you have the support. You can have maybe virtual assistants. We can have women as core programmers. There's really nothing wrong with that. So events like this are what we use to change the narrative, change the mindset, and bring in more women. And I'll tell you, in 2016, when we had the hackathon for Startup Port Harcourt Week, there was no female participation. 0 female participation. In 2017, we had 9 females. So that's a huge, huge success story as far as I'm concerned.
When I started developing, I set tasks for myself daily I have to deliver, and I find it difficult to go out and have lunch at times. I started thinking of something that I can actually build to solve this challenge for myself, and then Afroport came about.
In early 2017, that was when I became a Google Summer of Code mentor. Now, Google Summer of Code is an event where Google pay students up to university students to further their education. So they pay them up to $7,000. That's about 2.5 million naira within just 3 months of coding. Since I was not in school, I kind of joined that program. So I became a mentor, and I mentored a student in India. He was about 25, I believe. And funny enough, he didn't actually know that I was way, way younger than him because I was 17 then. I mentored him for 4 to 5 months, and we did the project successfully. Then after the event, I got an invitation from Google to attend a Google Summer of Code Mentorship Summit, where different people around the world that knows how to code to come down at Google and do things.
So the Ken Saro-Wiwa Innovation Hub has different technology activities. One of them, and the most interesting one, is our pre-incubation program. Through the Ken Junior Award for Innovation Challenge, every 6 months, we do a call for application where creative people in the Niger Delta or people who have been able to identify an idea and they have been able to identify a problem and also been able to come up with a solution to that idea. So we get those people to apply for this challenge, then we get them to pitch their ideas. So we pick the best 4 and we run them through our pre-incubation program.
Today, when the issue of education is raised, the first set of thoughts that comes to mind are declining standard, poor record keeping, examination malpractices, and mass promotion syndrome. When you go to schools, you also see that they have further problems ranging from inability to track fee collection and expenditures, inability to evaluate a teacher's performance. So school try to see how we can use technology to solve some of these problems.
We realize that there's an indifference. People have this attitude of indifference to their waste. Everything you think is useless has its alternative use. So people are not aware of this, but it's the reason we are introducing the throwaway cash. So the throwaway cash is going to bring a lot of benefits. For every waste you properly segregate and properly package, we'll pay you, we'll reward you to be able to collect that waste.
I've noticed that some of our youths, after graduating, good grades, serve the country for 1 year, nothing is happening. And a lot of people just sit at home, complaining about no job. So I said, is there a platform we can build that can at least give these people a leverage, something they can do at the meantime before that, dream job comes along. Along that line too, I lost my job where I used to work in NNPC. So that's where Less Stress Solutions was bettered. So I saw the opportunity there that if I'm able to create a platform where people can go online and say, I need somebody to do my errands for me. And I can vet the people that will do the errand, be sure that these people have good character, they have competency, and they're trustworthy. Then I've solved the problem for the man looking for a job and the man needing somebody to run his errand.
Most recently, myself and 3 friends co-founded Agrovine, which is actually an agricultural solution to solve the challenges, especially within the Niger Delta. A lot of persons are discouraged to go into farming, mostly because the communities are disjointed. And so people are able to farm, but not commercially. And even those that farm commercially can't get their products to the market. And so we looked at all of this and thought of a solution where we can bring the buyer, the seller, the farmer, the investor, and every other agro stakeholder on a common platform.
The natural ecosystem here, biodiversity is rich. in terms of wildlife, in terms of plants species and fishes. 3/4 of the fishes in the Gulf of Guinea breeds in the Niger Delta region. They can't be explored. The alternatives, are quite enormous. So they need to look at the alternatives and see how probably maybe that can also engage a lot of the youths who are probably jobless or looking for something to do.
The fish farming business in Ekpan started about 2005. It started in a small, substantial way. From now, it has grown to a full-blown fish farming business in Nigeria. The fish farming is very capital intensive. Everybody starts with foreign feed because when they are very small at that fingerless or juvenile, maybe some will feed to 3 months or 2 months before going into their local feed.
The cost of those foreign feed became so high, I had to take my destiny by my hands and start producing my own instead of boosting their business, and yet it's affecting my here. Feed production is very lucrative. If it's not lucrative, I don't see why foreigners will come into this country, start producing feed, employ workers, run fuel, and so on and so forth. They are stripping our profits away from us, because if you really want to maximize profit in fish farming, you must go into feed production. You must produce your feed yourself.
I dey dry fish for people. When people bring come, I go dry for them. Then they go pay me. At times I dey sell. At times I will just dry for people. If I look and say too dear, I not go buy. If I look and say it come down small, I go buy. Then I go sell. Then I don't do the business for 12 years now. For me, I dey use firewood, salt, and drum to dry my own fish.
I needed a job. I needed a change of environment, and I relocated to Warri. So when I got to Warri, I found out that there's no need working for anybody. When I found out about the fish processing, the new techniques, we call it smoking cane. That was why I loved smoking fish, because it doesn't give you more stress, and it's very lucrative because it pays me more.
So even day when I supposed to use, when it go better pass this one. When it be say if you put any little fire, it go dey dry, go dey heat. Why I never get the oven reality because of money. If not, I like that oven pass the drum when I dey use so.
Since we have one source of water, so the moment that source of water is polluted, it affects everybody. I think about 2010, we have a pollution from an oil company.
I think we just woke up one morning and discovered that most of our fishes are floating on water. We had to call the attention of DBS. The DBS covered it, and before we know it, the then Commissioner for Environment was here, Commissioner for Agric, then the Deputy Governor was here, and they organized a World Press Conference.
When the pollutions occur, many farmers lost their fish as at that time, and we cried hoping for compensation, but as I'm speaking with you now, there's no 10 kobo was given to any farmer.
Nigeria probably imports anything from 70 to 80% of its palm produce needs. Imports. And yet we have, just as we have crude oil, but we're importing refined product, the same way we have not been able to cultivate our palm potentials, and that's just one crop.
Because I'm send you either water, you know, like you know, about them, very naming one. I won't be a nammy, and what am I? And I'm Boko from Mendita. No one years and yet about it. Women dock on me, they will keep with them in him. It's engine and me say, yo, Yamin try. I listen, engine, yes, Sarakasara is a song. Yeah, as Sarah can quit as soon as I didn't come along Sarani. Either is he walk, because whatever you were me as an utum, they don't. So, but the many engineers are Sarah, are you wouldn't song this way they can quit it. Mandy near ye, boom, the cannon, yes, cannon, so can ya, I enjoy it, engine.
Friday near Kirong Miro. I win near you can. So I win near a month. I'm going to tell you 10 months, 10 minutes. You so send the bank a month. So, 10 months that will near it. If better get me. So, you mean a kiss it open, mong it, move a nickel. So maybe I am going to keep them on. Anyway, we can.
We have the primary rice farm. Ajib was supposed to actually do that in partnership with the Bayelsa State government, the old River State government at that point. It was estimated to have the capacity to feed all of Africa, rice production. As we speak today, facilities are there, but nothing is going on. Places have been abandoned.
There's a huge potential to grow rice because of the floods that we have in the terrain. But today, instead of the flood to be used for advantage, it destroys our homes. So terrestre, we call this a demonstration farm because we use it to set out, to scale up whatever we want to do. So we have a feed mill that we're setting up, a 4-ton per hour feed mill that we have for both fish and poultry meats. We have piggery, we have snairy, and we have a poultry warehouse there. We have a total of approximately 80 to 90 pigs now from 12. For the snail, we started with about 700 snails. As of today, we have over 2,000 snails. When we talk about financial reward in agriculture, because most times we just encourage people to do agriculture. Come and do agriculture. Probably in a place where you have access to raw materials, you might just do agriculture anywhere, anyhow. But in the Niger Delta, where you have to import all your raw materials, because feed in agriculture, particularly for livestock, account for over 70% of your cost. Now, for profitability in agriculture, primary farming, if you do 15%, 20% profit margin on investments, you try. It's not as lucrative as value addition, which is secondary farming. So instead of just doing beds, you're providing a frozen chicken. So imagine you buy a big chicken, let me say 1,700, but you just buy a lapse of a chicken that is packaged for almost 600 naira or 700 naira. You see the margin. So you make more money when you add value to your primary product.
In addition to agriculture and information technology, other scalable business opportunities exist in the region.
What I am doing here is carving. I inherited it from our grandfathers. We don't go to school to learn. It's what whoever born in this community, Kotobia, is entitled to do it.
People like any other thing apart from this lion, but people like Mazda, people like Maz very well because they are used for festival. They like it. Some masks cost like 3,000, 4,000, but the lion pass the max.
If my family they plenty for push way at the top, if then they plenty, I they get every day 7 jerrycan of palmy. If I use that 7 jerrycan for drum, I go reserve those ones again until I can get another 7 jerrycan again until I get the tray measurement, the amount which I need to take turn the kai kai. All this work which I'm counting now is the week I'm producing only 2 jerrycan alone, which is 2 jerrycan of kai kai. These 2 jerrycan, I can't dictate say na so days, but only thing which I know is na 1 week. Now that 1 week which I'm producing is 14,000 naira a week.
The drums of militancy may yet be beating. The skies are washed with gas flares and ecosystems despoiled. However, these alternative livelihoods shine out like defiant embers, unfold like resilient dreams in need of an urgent intervention that will usher in the future of the Niger Delta.
And slowly we are beginning to see light in the tunnel because
hubs are beginning to come up, promising space, promising internet, Wi-Fi. Many startups, many founders, many aspiring founders need education. They need to understand what it means to build and run a startup. So we need lots of accelerator programs within the region.
For a while, I've always been thinking that the youth have problem. So we organize forums, conference, capacity building session. After all is said and done, they say, okay, I want to start a business. I want to go into agriculture. They walk up to Bank of Industry. Bank of Agriculture Industry, any of them, commercial bank, ask them, go and bring all the things that you cannot provide. The guy goes back more confused than he was. It would have been better he didn't go for that conference. So the system is designed to frustrate productive people. We have a systemic problem.
There is a breakdown, not just of law and order. The law and order thing is just a symptom of a breakdown of governance, where those in charge of governance are not sitting down to do deep thinking, to take the best people, best minds close to them, and to devote the resources to governance.
But I think that citizens themselves have a lot of responsibility going forward. We are too complacent in a way. At the moment, there appears to be a conspiracy of silence, especially in terms of development issues in the Niger Delta region.
There is no shared vision, no coordination amongst the various levels of government. So there must be an effort to come out with a clear, coherent Niger Delta policy, and then there must be an effort to ensure that there is coordination. There must be an effort to ensure accountability and transparency, and also there must be an effort to integrate the people, into decision making, policy making.
It's only proper engagement that can do that. It doesn't take complacency to achieve that. We must be active citizens, and by being active citizens, I mean that we must engage the processes of government and make government work for us.
Since Odaibe do this thing for us, there is change in Lewu. Nobody used to fight and kill anybody again in Lewu. For now, Lewu is peaceful. They are not doing anything hurtings again in Lewu.
With investments and cleanup of the spillage, the Niger Delta can redirect its path towards a thriving economy and a welcoming environment.